Hi there, and thank you very much for joining the Paula Fiscal Show. My show airs on Sundays at 3 o'clock p.m. on Channel 29, the San Francisco Public Access Station, and it also is rerun on Channel 76. And I upload all the shows to YouTube, so please log into the YouTube network and look for Paula Fiscal Show channel, and remember to subscribe because that's where we keep track of our numbers. Now, for today, we have a very, very special guest who happens to be the former 1984 Miss San Francisco, is one of her accomplishments, and she is also currently a small business person here in San Francisco where she teaches your children how to become performing artists. Linda, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this show, and we want to hear everything you know about what you know in starting a business, and we also want to hear about your time at the San Francisco Giants with during the 1989 earthquake.
Well, thank you so much, Paula. It's a pleasure to be on your show. Well, first of all, I do have a musical theater company for children, which I love. I love children and I love performing, so I put the two of them together and created a business. And the children love what they do in my company. They get to perform and they learn a lot. And as far as the 1989 earthquake, I was one of the singers. I sang with Beach Blanket Babylon at the game. The earthquake happened and then they had to reschedule the game. And so then I was there when the Giants played the A's in 1989, the earthquake game.
And we also want to hear about the award that you got from the Parents Magazine, which is right here.
Well, this was a thrill. I never expected this. This was a very nice award to get, and I received this, and I was just so happy because I love what I do, and when you're rewarded for it, it's a wonderful thing.
And of course, we also want to hear about how you started with this industry. Did you make a decision when you were 10 years old that you were going to be a star, or how did this come about?
Well, when I was about I guess about 6 years old, I started singing with a Barbra Streisand record, Secondhand Rose, and when people would come over for dinner, I would sing to them. And then as I got older, I guess I was about 11 or 12 years old, I found a Vicky Carr record and also a Nancy Sinatra record. And so I started singing with these records. And when I discovered that I had a voice, I sang for my uncle, Sal Carson, who had a band and an orchestra. And he started me with his band, and I got the chance to sing with bands and orchestras, and then I got into the pageants, and in 1984 I won Miss San Francisco, and then in 1985 I auditioned for Steve Silver, the Beach Blanket Babylon, and it's a great story that Steve Silver used to love to tell. I was working at Macy's department store, and I was waiting for my sister to join me because we were going to go home. And when I came out to meet her, she was standing there talking to this gentleman, and she introduced me to him. She had met him at a party and told him that she had a little sister who sang. So he said to me, "Oh, so you sing? Why don't you sing something for me right now?" And I said, "Okay." So I started to belt out these songs, and we had a group of people, come up to us, and he was just taken back by it, and he got on the phone at the security, and he called, and he got me tickets for the show that night, and I got into Beach Blanket Babylon, and I played Snow White and Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and a lot of different characters.
And you also play Rita Hayworth, Marilyn Monroe, Dorothy, and currently, right now, in your production, you have Beauty and the Beast. Can you tell us about this?
Yes. Well, I performed all those other characters that you just mentioned. I impersonate those characters in Las Vegas. I had a 6-week show in Las Vegas, which I had a ball doing. And so that's where I performed those characters. I wrote the show and I produced the show and starred in it. And then with my Linda Bulgo's Musical Productions, I have Beauty and the Beast, which is being performed very soon. And it's wonderful because the kids do such a tremendous job. I have 3 different casts. And so there's a total of 9 shows, and each cast performs in one show. And the ages of the children are 6 through about 14 years old. And the children they do a great job. They grow so much in this company. I have had teachers say to me that children's self-esteem, they see the difference in their self-esteem. Like they'll get up and they'll read in the class, and they can tell the difference between the children that have taken classes and the ones that haven't, which is amazing to me. But it's something that I think the children, they learn so much from getting up in front of an audience. And they sing, they dance, they act. And I do a spring show, a fall show, and then I do 8 weeks of summer camp. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to watch children love something so much and grow from it.
And let me ask you this. In this world of social media and in this world of promotion and marketing and advertising, do you find that you get most of the students in your productions from the next door neighbor, or is this from TV, or how do you get your students in your classes?
Well, parents tell other parents, and that's really how I get my students. The parents just will tell another parent, oh, my child is doing this and doing that. And then another parent will say, well, I'd love to see my child do that. So it's word of mouth, basically.
So it's the old word of mouth. And as you and I know very well, that it has to do with the networks that you're established in and networks that you're reaching out to. And where is your school right now?
Well, I teach the children at St. Finbar Catholic School, and I rent classrooms there. So it's my business. It's not part of the school. And then we perform over at the Scottish Rite Theatre on 19th and Sloat, and they get a real theatrical experience in this theater. It is a fantastic theater. They get the stage, there's a backstage right, backstage left, there's a green room, there's a wig and makeup room. It's a wonderful experience for the children.
I'm very familiar with the Scottish Rite Center, and they also have parking. So if those of you that are watching and you'd like to know when the next production is for Linda Bulgo Productions, you can log on to her website, which is
Linda Bulgo's Musical Productions.
So now let's get back a little bit more to hear about the inspiration that gave you the impetus to begin this business in San Francisco. How did this come about?
Well, I do love performing, and I really do love children, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to help the next generation learn about performing? And I feel it is very important for performers to know how to perform. So stage presence is very important, and I really teach children to be as professional as they possibly can. So that is a big part of my business.
And when you began or wanted to start this business, did you find that you needed to present a business plan to the bank for a loan to get started? Did you use your own money? Did your family step forward and say, okay, I'll sign that lease for you? Or how did this all come about? Because I know as a business development consultant for many years here in San Francisco that sometimes you get an inspiration to start a business, but then when you actually start looking at getting the business licenses and getting everything set up, that it takes a bit of of resources, a few resources to get started. How did you approach these obstacles?
Well, I created my business in Nevada. And then, and so it was my own money that started it. And then, so I work out of the home of it is Nevada, but then I started a business in California. So basically, the tuition that came in paid for the rental of the show and, the rental of the school and the theater.
And the tuition, what does that run for a student, say, let's talk about the summer classes that you hold.
Well, it's $395 for 5 days a week. It's per week. What I do is I offer different themes for each week. There's 8 weeks of summer camp, and so you pay according to the week that you want to sign up for. You could sign up for all 8 weeks if you want to, but you could also just do 1 week or 2 weeks, whatever you like. So it's $395 per week.
And is there any room for the parents to volunteer with your school, or is this an opportunity for them to be, what are they called, the showbiz moms and the showbiz dads?
Well, not with summer camp. There's no parent volunteering. But with my fall production and my spring production, we do have parent volunteers. And it is a wonderful experience for the parents because you get to be backstage with your child. And you get to see how theater works. So you can sign up as a parent volunteer for fall and spring.
And I hear you have wonderful cast parties. I looked at your site, and then there were balloons, and the decor in the room was all done up. And how does that transpose into new students for you, just with the close-up and the follow-up of the productions?
Well, the cast parties are great. I sometimes do tea parties, or I order from different places to come in, different restaurants. But as far as having, it's basically it's word of mouth, and the children will have a good experience, and then they'll tell other children, and so then that's how more students get involved in it.
And let's talk also about your CDs. I see you have one here for Christmas and another one here with the theme that's called Original Country.
Yes, the Original Country CD is all the songs were written by me, and the words and the music. It's all original, and I recorded that. And I love country music. I love to sing any type of music, but I really do love country music, and so I wrote the songs, and there's one song on the country CD that I actually wrote for Steve Silver.
And which one was that? Was What Can I Say?
What Can I Say? What can I say? Yeah, and it's basically a song thanking him because I got a lot of experience and I did so many things. I got to perform for Prince Charles and Camilla when they came to San Francisco, and that was a thrill. That was just something that I couldn't believe. I came out as Snow White, and I was in a Bob Mackie. That was actually was on the Academy Awards show, the Girl Award on that show. And I was Snow White wearing the Bob Mackie, and I was all in color. And everyone else in the cast was in black and white. And I sang Someday My Prince Will Come. And, I'm looking straight out into the audience, and there is Prince Charles. It was like full circle for Snow White. And then at the end of the show, I came out as Judy Garland. And I sang a song as Judy Garland for him. And then after, he came up on stage and met all of us. And that was a thrill. And, when you speak to royalty, you must wait for them to speak to you first. So he came up to me and he giggled. And he shook my hand. And then as he was working his way through the other cast members, he turned around and he looked at me and he said, "Will you be going home and going to bed, or are you going to go out and have dinner?" And I was so taken back because I didn't know really how to answer that. And Elvis was standing next to me, the man who was portraying Elvis in the show. And he said, "Oh, no, I think we'll probably go out." So the London press interviewed me after that. And they asked me, "Did Prince Charles talk to you?" And I told them about that. And I'll never forget the London press saying, "How odd." So I got a kick out of that.
That's wonderful. That's a good story, Linda.
Yeah.
And do you have another story for us that is in reference to your Christmas CD?
Well, my Christmas CD, I didn't write these songs, but I love Christmas. And I wanted to do a CD of Christmas songs. So that one I actually dedicated to my mother. So it's a good one. I love Christmas. So I thought I'll do my country CD and I'll do a Christmas CD. And you can
And you can get these CDs, for those of you that are interested, right off her website, which is
lindabulgo.com. You can get both of them on. And I believe that the Christmas CD is only at Linda Bulgo's Musical Productions.
That's wonderful. And for those of you that are watching, as you know, I always like to have people on here that are talented and that have a whirlwind career in performing arts. And for us, Linda is a celebrity because while she was with Beach Blanket Babylon, right now you have an opportunity to go ahead and go through her classes. Now, you said that you take children, so you don't do this for adults, Linda?
No, not yet. I know parents have asked me, and I would love to produce a show for parents or an adult that wants to do something. So I'm actually looking into that right now.
So I believe we call that an entrepreneurial opportunity for anyone watching that would like to produce a big show. Linda Bulgo is ready to do something like this. And now let's talk about some of your volunteer activities that you do in San Francisco, because I am aware that you are also part of the San Francisco Breakfast Club that used to be the San Francisco Women's Breakfast Club. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about your participation with this group.
Well, the San Francisco Breakfast Club meets once a month, and it's a wonderful meeting that we have. I'm the vice president of the San Francisco Breakfast Club, and I've been in it for I guess about 4 years. We talk and we see people every month, and there's great entertainment. And it's a wonderful event. I look forward to it every month.
And we do too, because once in a while you even sing for us. I know you sing the happy birthday song every month, but on other occasions I understand that you have also graced us with your wonderful voice. Now I expect that if you don't mind, you might grace us with a couple minutes or a half a minute of your voice here.
Well, let me do Judy Garland for you. I love Judy Garland, and I do Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and I also do Judy. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. I'm gonna chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day.
Thank you so much, Linda. That was fabulous. And as I said before, we want to encourage anyone that is interested in having their children enroll in Linda's classes. She's got her website, and if you need to get any further information, you can also email me at paulafiscalshow@gmail.com. And we want to give Linda an opportunity right now to give some advice, words of wisdom, for those of you that are interested in perhaps becoming actors, perhaps becoming part of the performing arts industry here in San Francisco, and allow her to tell us a little bit more about her productions.
Well, if you're interested in becoming a performer, and this is for a child or an adult, what I would say is you have to be prepared to work very hard. I believe you practice, 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 because once you get up on that stage, you have to know what you're doing. And focusing is very, very important. So that's my best advice. And you're going to work really, really hard. And as far as starting a business, it's kind of the same thing. Is you work really hard, and it's 24 hours a day. And when something gets thrown at you that you don't expect, you just have to be in the moment and just keep going forward. It's It's not easy to have a business, but it takes hard work. And if you really want it, that is something that I would say that you have to be prepared to do.
And so then the old adage that says the show must go on, that really is true for your industry because you have so many young people that are perhaps scheduled for soccer or football, and then they have your class too. So I noticed in the agreements that they sign, the young people have to agree that they're going to attend every class and not be tardy and have a commitment to go through the whole performance schedule. So, do you have any nice story that you can tell us about any of the showbiz moms or the dads or the students?
You know, I've been very fortunate. I really do not have a stage mom. I haven't run into any stage moms. I think that the parents, they want to do what's best for their children, and if a child says they want to be in a show and they sign them up, I see that they support them in any way that they can, because people will say to me, what can I help my child with, before the show starts or during the rehearsals. And I really appreciate that because I know that they're helping them. And so I would say that that's the only thing, but that's not a stage mom. That's somebody who's really helping their child. So I've been very fortunate in that respect that I don't have any stage moms or dads.
Well, and what's the breakdown of your students? Is it primarily women or young girls? Is it young boys? How is that makeup?
It's boys and girls. I don't have any adults yet, but because I haven't started anything for adults yet. But it's boys and girls, and it's wonderful. Sometimes girls will play boys' parts, and boys, have played girls' parts. So it's really up to the children. I really listen to the children, especially in summer camp, because it's 5 days and they're going to sing, they dance, they act. They do 2 dance numbers, an opener and a closer. And I talk to the children. I find out how much they want to do. Like some of them will say, I want a lot of dialogue. And then I tell them, okay, but you have to memorize all that. And then I'll have the students that say, I don't want to have a lot of dialogue. And so I listen to what they say and the songs that they want to sing. So and I think that's really important.
So you're talking about that they sing and dance. So where do they get their dancing skills?
Well, we will choreograph something for the children, and we look at, like, they'll come in, they fill out, an application. And if they've never danced before, we won't give them any hard dancing to do. So we really try to look at the child and what they want to do as far as the numbers, the opener and the closer. So it's not really, really hard, especially in summer camp, because it's only 5 days. And on Fridays, they perform a show at the end of the 5 days. And like I said, they do the opener, they do a closer, they sing, and they do dialogue. So it's a great experience for them, and they learn a lot.
And let's talk a little bit about the costumes. How do you get the costumes for your productions?
Well, I will order them online, or I will go out and look for them in stores. I also have a lady, Nellie, who makes my costumes. She is a wonderful sewer, and she's making costumes right now for our production of Beauty and the Beast, and she just did 2 costumes that are amazing. So that's how I get my costumes.
And when you do your productions, how long are your productions? And when you have the promotion go out about how many guests you're going to have in the room, how does that change into the number of productions? Does it depend on how many people sign up and then you make more productions, or do you always have a set number?
We always have a set number. We always do between 6 or 9. I have 3 different casts. So as long as the 3 classes fill up, then we do the 9 shows. And the productions are about 90 minutes in length. Sometimes they're more than that. Depends on the show. But I know our upcoming one is 90 minutes.
And so then you have a schedule of all your productions. Can you tell us about some of the productions that you've already had and some of the productions that you're planning for the future?
Well, We've done A Music Man. We just finished Mary Poppins, Sound of Music. Um, let's see, Annie. So we've done a lot. I've done a lot of shows. I've produced a lot of shows.
And talk about the ones that are coming up, so that parents can enroll their young people in in your classes.
Well, I'm thinking of doing. Say, I never like to let this out because then if I change my mind, I'm in trouble. But I believe I'm going to be doing Cinderella in the fall, and basically, I talk to the children and I ask them in my company, and I say, "What do you want to do next?" And so I try to produce the shows that I know the children want to actually be in, or that they've dreamed of being in. I like to get their opinion on what they would like to do, and then I look into it about renting the shows and producing them.
And so, in other words, if somebody says they want to do an Avengers show, for example, which is very popular right now, you have to go through the logistics of getting permission to do some of these shows then.
Absolutely. I rent the shows, and so many times children will ask me to do a show that hasn't been released yet. So I rent all the shows. Yeah.
And so the rental process means you have to go through the agencies that release the shows. So if you want to do something like a Michael Jackson show, you'd have to go through their family to do that.
Yes, yes. You have to rent them.
Okay, then. So we want to thank Linda Bulgo for her time here on our show, and we want you to remember that you can look on her website for any further information, which is
Linda Bulgo's Musical Productions.
And so, thanks so much for watching the Paula Fiscal Show. We want to thank our sponsors, Gypsy Rosalie's, SFID, General Contracting, and we also have Siren.com with Lisa and her 3 boutiques, one on Hayes Street, one on Chestnut, and one in the West Portal area. And so, thank you so much for watching, and our motto is, stay informed.